Thanks for tuning in to Bourbon Drop. I'm your host, Myron. Today, I have no bottles. The only thing I have on the table is samples. So, shout out to Shane, man. Shane is a good friend of the channel. He's a friend of mine. We swapped some bottles. And Shane he told me he had some things that I would be interested in that would probably or possibly want to make a video out of. So I was like, okay, cool. So after we swapped some bottles, he told me he wanted to give me some samples. He did not tell me what they are. He gave me this envelope. I had my son tear it open. He put the answers because it was written on a piece of paper and they weren't separated. So I had my son read the sheet of paper, write them on these cards, fold them in half, and put the letters of the samples and the answers inside of them. So the only thing that Shane told me to do was, I asked him, I said, do you have anything specific that you want me to put side by side? So Shane said to put B and C, D and E, H and G, A and F, and then I by itself. So I'm gonna follow Shane's recommendation, and there's no way I could do all these tonight. I've already did the Jack Daniel's foolproof single barrel proof video, so I have no plans on 9 samples. So this is going to be a 2-part video. It will be part 1, part 2. I think the two that I'm going to put side by side and then I by itself is going to be B and C. So B and C, and then he says D and E. So D and E, and then I by itself. So let me get this table set up and then we'll get right back to it. Before we get started, man, I just want to say there was so much of a great reaction to the 9 bourbons that I purchased that I have regrets on. So I wanted to go over some of those comments because to me, a lot of those were, funny, interesting. They were things that I totally agree with. Let's get into them. So one of the first ones, SF Guy says, Sturgeon's Law says 90% of everything is crap, so it stands to reason everyone is going to experience some duds. I like that one. Lee says, I got fooled twice with the Carl T. Huber Starlight finished bourbons, $80 each. I can't believe I didn't learn my lesson after the first one. Totally agree with you on that one. Jazz and Real Hip Hop, it's possible I might like one of those, but not likely. He said, glad you did the legwork, LOL. Look, I'm always happy to find new bourbons. That's how I stumbled across Henry McKenna 10, and I don't mind putting my neck out there for you guys because, look, I find something great sometimes. So when I find gems like Henry McKenna 10, I'm always going to take that chance. Now, I hate doing it. It's a punch in the gut when it costs a lot of money. This one here is from Faking a Nerve. Isaac Bowman Port Finish is my main. I've made a huge mistake bottle. I love John J. Bowman, so I thought it was a safe bet. The port finish dominates the bourbon with heavy notes of days old gym socks left sealed in a bag in a hot car, and the mildew that grows on top of mold. That took the cake for me. Now, I don't know if these are bourbons, ryes. I'm assuming they're probably mainly bourbons. I don't know if they're wheated bourbons, typical mash bill bourbons, or rye whiskey. So these could possibly be maybe a little more proofy and a little older because they are darker. These are a little lighter. So I'm assuming that's why he said that, to put these two side by side. And like I said, this is going to be a 2-part video. You will get the results at the end of this video. I am also about to start my Hundo Head Honcho series, so please tune in for that. But I want to get B and C, that's what it was, B and C on the wheel, get them spun up, and then once I get these kind of in, just mixed up, get them in a random order, I'll be able to put these side by side, and then I'll do the same with D and E. So once the wheel stops, we'll go ahead and get them side by side. All right. So I have no idea how those are gonna wind up. He sent them to me. I have no idea what the heck they are. I have my son write down the answers. So we're gonna have to find out on camera exactly what they are, which ones are better. I will reveal the answers tonight. Like I said, I'm not gonna keep you guys waiting until part 2. Let's get into the nose of whatever this is. Oak. There's a light cream. I don't get a lot of ethanol out of that at all. This one actually smells a little nutty, a little grassy. A little bit of that corn husk, but brown sugar. Almost like a sweet dough note. Almost like that could be like a weeded, maybe a Maker's Mark or something like that. I'm not going to get into those just yet. So let me, well, you know what? I can get into the nose. Why not? Ethanol. That's got a little bit of like that fingernail polish remover, just a touch. Not bad though. Not in a bad way. I've had some that are way worse. A little bit of oak. This comes off just a touch sweeter. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but that one comes off just a little sweeter. All right, let's get into the palate. That's good. Brown sugar. It's got this rye grassiness in it. It's got a hint of raisin. There's a hint of raisin, brown sugar, and like a rye, like a rye grassiness to it. Let's go into this one. That's just the sweet, but it's got a little bit of like and I know I say this a lot, that sunflower seed nuttiness. I don't know what it is. I can't even tell you what distillery it's from right now. Yeah, I don't even want to make a guess because I'm liking it. I'm like, whatever it is, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Let's go back to glass number one. It's got a decent mouthfeel. That raisin note could almost make me think that it might be in something finished. I don't know. It could be finished in something. I really don't know. Brown sugar. Glass number two. Yeah, sunflower seed nuttiness, brown sugar, light vanilla. Those are very close. I don't know what they are, but they are very close. Very close. I would actually have to say those are a tie. I don't mind a little bit of that nutty note. Those are a tie. On the nose, I would say this one probably edges it out just a touch on the nose. Palate wise, sweetness level is the same, but this one just has a little bit of a nutty note to it. Don't know exactly what it is. Let's get into glass 3 and 4. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Nothing special on the nose. I'm not picking up anything like heavy. I'm not picking up any vanillas right now. I'm not picking up anything. A slight touch of oak and cream. And at first I was able to get something, but now I guess coming off of these, maybe these are higher proof than these, but now I'm not getting anything. So these must be just a touch higher in proof. Yeah. I don't know if it's higher in proof because those didn't come off proofy, But this thing right here is not coming off proofy at all. I'm getting a little bit of a slight cherry, slight grape. A little bit of vanilla. Maybe a touch of that grassiness, and maybe that's coming over from those because like I told you guys before, I don't like to clean in between. I almost drank water because I saw the colors of these two. And I was like, no, because water, once I drink water, it takes a while for my palate to get back to normal. And then next thing you know, that water just kind of waters it down. I actually kind of like this. This is almost giving like Buffalo Trace vibes. Not Buffalo Trace itself, but that distillery. It's low proof. It is not high proof at all. I would probably say 90s, maybe sub 90s, but that's low proof. But then again, I did just shoot the Jack video, so give me a little bit of room. I think this was the one that I said had that note, that just that like fingernail polish note, but I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe a little sour. That's definitely low proof too. That's more along the lines of a light vanilla cream. Almost like a when you put table sugar in tea and it isn't super sweet, but it's watered down enough but you can still taste the sweetness. A slight chocolate on that one. Even though it was like a little watered down, and a little bit of chocolate on the end. It had some good flavors. This one right here, it's just got a little more, like, I would say, honey in it. It's a little more honey. It's just I would say that this one has to be the better one, the better of the two, put it that way. So glass number 3 is taking first place. 1 and 2 are tied. Let's get into glass I, because he wanted me to do glass I by itself, so I'm assuming glass I may be something special. Smells good. It's got this doughy note. That's got that Maker's Mark note. That has like that doughy, creamy Maker's Mark. Glazed donut almost. Oh, that nose is beautiful. Super sweet. Super sweet. Nice finish. A little bit of grassiness on the finish though. Yeah, that's got that sweet dough note. Oh my gosh. I love that sweet dough note. You get that sweet dough, it's almost like I said, a glazed donut. That Maker's Mark stuff has that sweet dough note to me. That is a nice nose. Let's go back in. Brown sugar, chocolate. I wanted to almost say a citrus note. A little bit of that grassy note. But that's good. That finishes with the milk chocolate. To me, I don't know what any of these are, but to me, I don't know if it's supposed to be special, but out of all 5 of these, this is the best one. This has a great finish. The finish on these 2 were okay. These came off as thin. You see how much I had to drink to try and get into the flavors of them, so they're pretty much gone. But this one has the best finish. This one comes off with a sweet dough note, that glazed donut almost. It's got some chocolate in it. It's got a great milk chocolate finish. That is a winner. So let's find out what these are because it is killing me. We will go B, C, D, and E. And then he said I do alone. So that's I. I'll put A. This will be for part 2. A, F, G, and H. And I believe he said put A and G together and F and H together. So let's see what glass is this. Okay, that's C. So this is glass C. Glass C. Sagamore Spirit 8 year 2A. Batch 2A. Okay. Okay, that was good. That was really good. Shane, look, man, this was fun. I really appreciate it because I haven't had the 8 year yet, and I know it's at the Total Wine, and somebody pointed out to me that it was in the Total Wine video, and I passed it up. All right. So if that's C, then this is B. Let's see what B is. Sagamore Spirit Sherry Finish, Batch 1A. I haven't had that yet. Those were a tie. That was close. I'm going to have to look up the proof and see what they are. They were not super proofy, but they were both good. They were both just as good. I think I thought C was the one that was in something finished because one of them had a really distinct raisin note. I won't know until I go back and look at the video. Look, after you do blinds with 5 and a Jack single barrel proof video, you kind of lose track of things. So look, I'm just saying, give me a little slack, cut me a little slack. All right, so that's D. D is High West Rendezvous Rye, batch 2020. Wow. Wow. And I just crapped on the Rendezvous. The other, well, I mean, they're all bottled differently. This was a 2023 batch. So this 2020 batch is actually pretty good. I'm going to have to look up the proof on that too. It's probably the same. So the High West bottled in 2020. Let's see what it beat out. That beat out High West Rendezvous Rye 2017. Wow. Wow. Oh, Shade. I see what you did, Shade. I see exactly what you did. Now let's go with I. Let's see what I is, and then we'll finish the video out. This is the Russell Reserve. So it turns out that this is Russell's 13-year barrel proof. My son looked at Shane's answer key, and I haven't seen it yet. I had my wife take a look at it. She says, yes, it looks like 13 years. My son said he thought it said BYR. So I'll put up what he wrote down. BYR barrel proof. I think my son might have wrote something down that it wasn't supposed to be, but Russell's Reserve, I don't know if it was a I don't know if it just says Russell Reserve BYR barrel proof. I'm gonna have to look at the letter that Shane sent, once I do part 2 to figure out exactly what it is. But it just says Russell's Reserve BYR barrel proof. Maybe that's why I liked it. This thing was good. This had the best finish of the night. I want to really thank you, Shane. Look, this was fun. Hopefully we could swap some more bottles in the future. I know there's some things that you can't get that I can get, and I know there's some things that I can get that you can't get. Guys, please stay tuned for the Hundo Head Honcho. Please check out part 2 because these were some very interesting bottles, samples that he sent me. So with that being said, let the whiskey float. Never run out unless you're headed to a drop. Till next time.